on LinkedIn. I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Yeah, all I have is red stuff, so I can't do anything about it.
Just for Bob Fagel, got the nice green hat to go along with the nice green shirt. I come prepared.
It's amazing. It's literally amazing. The Rams will do green gear.
There's never an occasion where I will not be rocking the Rams gear.
That I am absolutely. There's one certainty in the universe. That is it. It is the thing that all humans can hang their hats on, as long as it's a Rams hat.
We have an upset.
Oh my God! Hi, Christy.
Not that we're upset, but you upset Sven, who is usually the first commenter. But we are always very glad to see you. Oh, and look who comes in.
Buenas tardes. Okay, we're going into Spanish.
I know that.
Yeah,
I took a lot of Spanish in high school.
How many years of Spanish did you take?
3 or 4.
Ooh.
Something like that. Yeah, we're a little late. See, just a couple of minutes late, Sven. Just a couple. Good.
So we had technical difficulties.
Christy, do you know what my last name is? That's all I have to say.
Wait, Ray, how's this work? How's that even work? I wish I could join, but busy. But you joined.
What are you doing right now?
I don't get that one.
What language is that, Sven? Don't know.
That's actually lion. The king's lion.
I know. Give Christy some what we used to say, some dap. She was the first one in today. They're all
dap?
Dap. Give them some
never heard that one.
Dap them up. Yeah.
Huh.
Eater O'Toole?
That's your last name. No.
No. Yeah. Although Peter O'Toole is one of my favorites. I loved him in Lawrence of Albania. It was really good.
Yeah, Lawrence of Albania. I'm sure Mad Magazine did something on Lawrence of Albania. I don't doubt.
I bet.
Oh, Sven, that was the easy and obvious one that you did today. Definitely was not exactly a brain teaser, so to speak.
But I appreciate easy and obvious from time to time.
Me too.
Oh, wait a minute. We got the notorious Alan Bergson's in the house.
That Hummentaschen is, for those of you who do not know, is a 3-cornered pastry, kind of like this, and in the middle of it is some sort of fruit filling. Usually, I hate to say this, but only those of us from the tribe will say this is good. The filling is usually prune.
Wait a minute. Let me pop this up again. It's a bread with fruit in it.
It's a pastry.
It's a pastry with fruit in it.
Yeah.
Is it savory bread? Is it a savory?
No. Sweet. Like this.
Triangular. Are there any blueberries in that fruit group?
There could be.
Oh, okay.
It's okay for that. Just not. There's nothing wrong with blueberry. It's all the context.
It's all about the context.
That's right.
It's always about that. Lawrence of Albania. That's right. Rent it. Maybe Netflix has that one. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. We are happy today because let me see if I could do this. I wanted to keep an eye on something because there's something else going on besides Ray's meeting. There's something else going on that I really want to keep tabs on. So let me try something real quick. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, there's a commercial.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're keeping tabs.
I was really hoping that I would go right to a game because the Final Four is going on. That's a long commercial. Let me see. Let me see if put the sound on this thing. See if there's actually anything going on.
Or even well spoken.
Yeah, there's a commercial on. So from time to time, I may let me see. Why can I get my other camera working here? Where am I at here? Why aren't they letting me be seen on this other
Seems
camera
to be
here?
blocking your sound and the camera.
My camera, it's like it just won't work. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'll take myself off. Whoa, wrong one. Take this guy off. Anyway, so from time to time, I might check in, see what's going on with basketball. Are you in any of the pools or anything?
Yeah, I joined one last night for the hell of it from like ESPN or something, just to join one. Made my selections.
Who'd you select? Did you have
To
any
win?
idea who?
No,
What?
I think I forget. I think Michigan already lost, right? Today
Did
or
they?
won? No, they won today. They beat somebody. I I have to take a look to see if I'm already dead in the waters or I advanced with even the two games that they played.
Wow. So every now and again, I'll do a check in. See, that can't be right. That commercial cannot
No,
still be on.
no.
I'll have to check and see what's going
Maybe
on.
it's half time on the internet, halftime.
I had sound.
Yeah, it's fine sound, but
It's saying it's a commercial break in progress.
yeah, it
Oh,
could
wait a
be
minute.
like, that's
Wait a
internet
minute.
based.
I know what happened.
HP GreenLake is the platform that brings the cloud to us.
Let's see what happens now. There it is.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So from time to time, we'll do a little check in, see what's going on with the game.
Okay. I'm in.
All right, we're doing it. All right. Before we get to our guests,
Is he in the
really
green room?
conversation too. Earlier this week, we did the first watch party of 2022, Adobe Digital Summit keynote. Any additional thoughts now that we had a couple of days to kind of get away from it?
Not really. I mean, I again, Adobe is a company that the expectations from at least the analyst community for their success are very high. I mean, everyone generally understands that this is a company that stands out from pretty much anyone else for what they do, how they do it, and what they offer and what their potential is too. And look, I mean, we saw they're still missing a few pieces. They're going to have to take into account, like we discussed, like the equivalent of a Salesforce Plus type of piece. We saw that they kept to time, but they missed vision by keeping to time. We came up with a potential solution, which is offload all the framework stuff to Anil and let Shantanu be a visionary and still keep time. We saw a lot of things, but ultimately, they're one of the companies best positioned to take on the world as it evolves, and business world especially as it evolves. And now it's just a matter of them going out and doing it. I had a one-on-one today on with Kevin Lindsay on Journey Optimizer. Yeah, he's a good man. He said hi to you, by the way. I'm going to get a demo of Journey Optimizer because it's something that I think is important to the portfolio they have. So I can let people know after the demo is over what I saw. But I don't have a whole lot of new opinions, really. What about you?
Not really, but I did find a couple of comments or tweets that I thought were interesting. Let me see if I can bring this up. So Patrick has become a prime player. Really made the watch party having Patrick be a part of it. Thought that was good.
So we can call him a PIR, but a pet in residence.
We could, but we gotta have to work something out because Mini, we can't do anything without Mini.
No.
So-
Well, Minnie and Patrick are official now.
Do they know that are they an official couple? Are they the official pet couple of the CRM players?
No, the blues.
The blue
We have to put
siblings?
sunglasses on both of them, and then we can see what to name them.
And this tweet from Liz Miller, of course, as I was watching Sneaks, and apparently Liz kind of had the same thought process going on too. Sneaks would be a really good start to Adobe Plus, maybe. I don't know what the way that they did those demos and how it was real. I mean, Kristen Bell seemed to be seamlessly integrated into each of their demos, and it felt like something you could watch. A little humor in there, but of course they were demonstrating the products. I thought that was, why couldn't they have said, and now you can see all of this and more on Adobe Plus.
Right. Absolutely right. Sneaks is literally a show, a TV show, so to speak. I mean, look at that right there. It literally looks like the opening to Father Knows Best in 1955, but in color
Technical.
and with a bigger house.
Bigger. And a satellite dish on the
That
outside.
too.
No,
And probably a Porsche in the garage.
I'm just saying, as you mentioned, they have all the tools. They
Yeah.
have an army of creative folks who use these tools that are they love these tools. They're totally into using these things, and they're great creatives. That's like half the battle there.
Yep. What was the name of that last, by the way, the last Sneaks
design one?
demo?
I can't remember the exact name.
Decor, something decor.
Well, not at the coffee shop. Didn't he get like offed at a coffee shop or something like that? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah, that's the lasting thing. A lot of the stuff they talked about was great. And I hate to be, the thinking about the thing that we didn't see, which is, wow, they should have had a streaming something, because they have all the pieces. Just pull it together.
Oh, there's no question. I actually was mentioning that to Kevin today on the one-on-one too. They're missing literally the equivalent of Salesforce Plus. And honestly, with their creators, half the Behance community would jump in just to help.
I don't think it would take long for them to really get up to speed with this.
No, I don't either.
But I don't know if it's if it's something that they're really going to focus in on. I just think Salesforce is on to something. Even HubSpot is on to something with their podcast network.
Of course, we're on to something. Let's not forget us.
We're always on to something. Not usually
We're
good.
always on to the next thing.
Yeah, whatever that is. Okay. So last week we started a new segment, Caption This, something like that. It started with this picture. You gotta love that look on Alan's face.
I know. It really
So
is.
we were that's what
Looks
started
like he's
it.
in. No, the other thing, it looks like he's the very end of an episode of an 80s comedy show.
Why would it be an 80s comedy show?
Because that's pretty much when they went to these cheesy looking endings.
Okay. All right. So that picture kicked off a new segment. I posted this picture, and I asked for folks to actually caption this. We found one. We had a winner. Here it is.
Now, half the people will not understand what the hell we're talking about with that one, what Ginger was talking about.
From our very own Ginger Conlon. You want to fill him in?
Well, let's keep in mind, Ginger and Alan first, the bond there is that they're both diehard Mets fans. Just keep that in mind here. And one of the now that said, because it really is not germane specifically to this at all. One of the things that they decided this year when the crybabies on the owner and player side finally got their contract together was that they were going to have the designated hitter, which has been around in the American League since the 70s, will become part of the National League. And what that means is pitchers will no longer bat. They will have a person who is devoted to, who will not field, but he will hit. And that is the designated hitter. And National Leaguers, people who support National League teams usually hate the idea. All of us who support American League teams love the idea, right? So guess what? We win. Yeah. We win.
Okay. So there it is, folks. That's the look that you get when you find out the National League.
Debbie Downer. Wah, wah.
There it
That's
is.
what that is. That's what follows Alan's look there.
Yeah, we'll get the musical effect,
right.
Later on.
Wah.
Okay. So yesterday, in our happy hour, what do you call the full name of this thing?
No,
again?
this is called, first year was happy hour, second year happy hour. This year, even more joyous hour.
So that
EMJH.
which took place yesterday. We asked the folks, because I asked some folks, start sending in pictures of people in the industry with interesting pictures that we can do this caption thing to. And we got two. We got two of them from our buddy, Rich Green, Chief Technology Officer of Sugar CRM. So we asked the crew, because I don't know how to say the ever happier, whatever you call that thing.
EMJH.
We asked the crew yesterday.
The gang.
So which of these two pictures that Rich Green sent in should we use for this week's Caption This? And so here is the picture that was chosen. Now, there could be a lot of stuff going on in here. Look at the dude in the back. There seems to be a pilot. And Rich really doesn't seem to be enjoying whatever is going on. So we would like for you to caption this, put it in the comments, give us whatever you think is going on or you would like to think is going on, and put it in the comments. And we will announce the winning caption next week. That dude behind Rich, what the heck is he looking at? That's giving that face.
Should we let them know whether Rich knows him or not?
Go ahead and do that.
Rich does not know who that person is. That's right.
And the other thing, you can see the pilot.
Right.
They're facing they're sitting in a different direction. Usually when you're on an airplane, aren't you like kind of looking at the pilot, the back of the pilot?
Unless ... and we'll leave that to you.
Yes, we will leave that to you. So I will post this. In addition to you seeing it here, I'll post it on LinkedIn. Feel free to put whatever captions you think or you would like to offer up, and we'll pick a winner, and we'll show the winner, and the winner gets absolutely nothing, just satisfaction that they're a winner. That should be good enough, right?
Yes.
And yes, Alan, it is a part of your corporate narrative.
And hopefully someday we may have one.
Or maybe not.
That's right.
Okay. So it's time where the venerable Paul Greenberg introduces our guest.
All right. So this gentleman, first, his name, Steve Boxka. Now, He is the founder, CEO of Pug Interactive. I'm actually going to tell you something about this. Otherwise, I was almost like, seemed like something I should just leave it so that people can guess what this is all about. Well, Steve, a person who has been, let's say, comes after a long-standing career in the gaming industry, more games than, Las Vegas games industry, decided that he would create a company that would actually build an engagement platform that would bring all that he's learned over the years from games into the platform itself. And he built a really, really good platform. All right. And he showed me some examples of the work that they've done, and it's really outstanding. The returns are really strong. This is one of those, I'll call it, contemporary platforms that actually takes into account that people have had interest that really passionately that they're passionately interested in, that can actually be converted to a scalable business platform. And I got to tell you, Steve himself, he's a funny guy too. He's a funny guy. He's a really good guy too. So why don't we bring on Steve Boxcott? There's the man. I see he dressed in his best suit today too.
Nothing but the finest. Nothing but the I follow your lead every time.
Thank you.
It is
Thank
great
you.
to be back. It's good to see both of you again.
So how are you, man?
I am really good. We always talk about sports. I'm in Dallas, right? I think the last time we spoke, I was still in Vancouver, but
Yes.
I've
Did you move to Dallas?
I've moved my whole life. My daughter, my wife, we're all here now.
Wow.
And we always talk about sports, but can I talk about sports entertainment for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can talk about anything you damn well want.
Because just down the road from here, in 2 weeks, at the AT&T Center, I'm going to be at WrestleMania 38.
Nice.
Are you a wrestling fan?
38.
And it's been 35 years since I've been to WrestleMania, which means I was at WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome, seeing Hulk Hogan slam Andre the Giant.
Holy
That's something.
cow.
That's a
It
biggie.
also it's kind of a hint of your age too. How old are you then?
I'm afraid it is. I'm afraid it is. So I'm going to be taking my daughter and my wife. We're going to be heading down the road. It's 2 days now. It got so big. It used to just get longer. It was like an 8-hour marathon, and now they have it split into 2 days.
2
Saturday.
days.
Wow. So wait, how many people actually will be wrestling in that thing?
Well, it's like probably four hours each day now. Probably about I don't know, probably about 5, 6, 7 matches each time.
So 15 matches over 2 days. And then I assume there's a whole experiential component to it now.
Well, we're about to find out. I think it's different than when I was there 35 years ago, but now it's pretty exciting. So when I was there at the Pontiac Silverdome, there was 93,173 people. It set a world indoor attendance record.
What?
Wow.
Which stood for many years. I think it was eventually broken by something they did in Wembley Stadium or something. And here we are again. I don't know what AT&T fits, but it should be pretty full for 2 straight days.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
So
It is.
let's talk to your platform a little, because what you showed me the other day was really impressive. But I want people to, and it's come a long way from the first time. So why don't you give people first sort of a combination of education and progress report simultaneously, catch them back up, and then do it from the standpoint of like, because one of the things that you do so well and you've done so well is inculcated all those. I would love to call, I always hesitate to call it gamification just because I happen to hate the term. And it's a market that doesn't stand on its own anymore. So let's call it from your experience in the world of gaming. Talk about it from that standpoint and how you kind of evolved that into a scalable business platform.
Yeah, so that's a good way of phrasing it, actually, because when I first turned the corner on this, so the company started as a video game company. It's the second company I've started. The first one's doing very well as a mobile game company. And yeah, going back 20 some odd years, I was a big budget game producer and a video game designer on games that have grossed over $650 million for Disney, Electronic Arts, Vivendi, Sega, Ubisoft. And when I started this company, I thought there was an opportunity in the market for a particular kind of game that, for a variety of reasons, didn't really pan out. But we ended up with this technology. And that's exactly like Paul, you're saying, that when gamification, the whole phrase, started to really hit the scene. And it kind of broke my heart, frankly, because what I saw people describing as game-like engagement really wasn't that. Like, it was throwing badges and points around. To me, that was just like a layer that you're putting on top of a loyalty program. And sure enough, like all of the, call it predictions or forecasting that we did on how that was going to play out came true, right? So it was something that would work for a short amount of time, but it kind of lacked that really kind of visceral quality that a true game has. So there were no engagement loops. There were no things that were drawing people back. There were no things that really played on the psychological motivators that make people enjoy games. And I was kind of in this frame of mind where we had to go all in. So we're either going to commit to this approach and weather the storm and weather the ups and downs and all the arrows that were going to be slung at us, or I was going to close up shop. So we went for it, and we had some lean times, but I'll tell you, it's been worth it, because now we've come out of it. We've matured the technology. We stuck to our guns. We stayed true to the principles that we always had, which was that engagement, if done right, can be, now I would never advocate going this far, but it can actually be its own product. And I know that from games. Like, I know that we could make games that people would give us money to play, versus what, you know, marketers and loyalty advocates seem to do, which is try to bribe people into doing things. So you can actually reverse the flow of that if you make the experience engaging enough. But you have to be careful. If you make it too engaging, then now you're detracting from the business goals that you have. Right. So there's a sweet spot. There's a spectrum. I think the last time I talked to you guys, I was talking about like how you measure engagement,
Right?
how you actually find those sweet spots with this, thing I call the net engagement score.
It was based on that post you did.
Exactly. Yeah. On that white paper. So, so where we're at now is, fortunately, we've had a number of high-profile clients who have come forward. They're really ready to take the plunge. And the problem in particular that we're trying to solve now is that everybody has loyalty program points, whatever you want to call it, your loyalty scheme, right? And it really comes down to this. How much money did you spend? That much? Okay, well, here's something that has economic value to you. Here's a discount. Here's a free coffee. Here's whatever. It's just like straight linear road. That's fine, okay? But there's so much more to the relationship, and you guys are CRM. So much of what I've seen in CRM and loyalty programs, the R is like a lowercase r. Like, the relationship part of it is an afterthought, let's be honest. So much of it is data and profiling, but what is really the relationship? The relationship is, a company is like an entity, right? Even legally, it's like an entity. And companies have different personalities, and anything that has its own personality, I can form a relationship with. And the relationship is going to be different between one of those entities or personalities and another, even within the same industry, right? So I'm a Coke drinker. I love Coke. And I have a relationship with Coke, not in a weird way. I just have a relationship with Coke. And I also have one with Pepsi, but it's different. Okay?
What? Is that allowed?
Brent's in Atlanta. You got to realize Brent's in Atlanta.
I didn't think you could have. It's like Hatfield, and I love the McCoys too. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't say they were the same relationship. I said it was a different relationship, and
That makes you like Jesus.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to explain myself to the other, because it's like, well, no, I was drunk and I just had a sip of Pepsi. Sorry, Coke. I have to explain the infidelity, but it is a different relationship. Okay. And when you acknowledge that, it becomes so glaringly obvious that you can't have the same kind of loyalty program for everybody. There has to be something different about it. And it seems to me like all of these loyalty programs and the simple gamification programs are all just based on usually a simple mechanic that you're just reapplying, you're just stamping it out. Well, if I can do it for this one brand, I can do it for another brand. And then there is no differentiation. Everyone's on the same playing field again. So why have you really done it? So where we took all of this was, yes, there's definitely some more upfront work, and the toolkit that you need has to be more robust than something that you just click in or snap in and then it instantly works. But what you end up with something that is something that's true to the brand, true to the fidelity of the relationship that you have with the customers. And what we've been finding, which to my delight actually, is that when we get deeper and deeper into these engagements with some of the big brands that we've been working with, is that they actually want us at the table helping them make decisions because we present a point of view that they don't typically have. And it's the view from the perspective of the customer towards the relationship with the brand. So it's like, I mean, you know, like Star Trek, The Next Generation, Counselor Troy. She's the one that kind of sits there and just kind of quietly knows what's going on. Every now and then she just says something. That's kind of the role we play. It's they've got their marketing view, they've got their business goals view, they've got all of their views. And then we tend to present this view that's like, well, wait a minute. Like, how do you think the customer really feels about that? And do they actually feel like this is nurturing their relationship with you? And that's not just hyperbole, because I think we actually have, you know, woven that into the platform, and it allows us to configure it in a way that suits the relationship between the customer and the brand, in the way that when I was making video games, I never made a game for myself. I always made it for other people. And it's like, what would they enjoy? The engagement so deeply that they would be willing to take money out of their wallet and throw it towards us to solve the problem of boredom, which is really what games solves. Right? You pay me money, I promise you won't be bored. You'll feel like a hero at some point as well. So that's yeah.
And I'm kind of fascinated by the piece about not wanting to do it too well. I was like almost over engage. How many companies go into this with that in mind? Like, hey, we want to do a little more, but no, we don't want to go crazy, don't want to get too engaged, don't want, you know, somehow we lose money because we're trying to do some engagement.
Yeah, so we'll stop them before they get there, because we don't want to detract them from their core business. But I'll tell you, and I'm probably even throw some of these examples up for you guys later so I can show you. One of the brands that we've worked with is a big Italian lottery, Sisal, in Italy. I think they're one of the biggest European lotteries. I can't remember how much throughput they have in revenue. It's like something like, I don't know, 2.6 billion, might be more than that. It's a big company, let's put it that way. And we built this engagement system for them. You know how PokerStars.net is just the front for PokerStars.com? They can't advertise PokerStars.com, so they advertise PokerStars.net. That creates their funnel. You switch from .com to .net, and suddenly you're a gambler. So it's free to play, and then there's the actual paid. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but that's why it is that way. So what they have are all these restrictions around not being able to advertise directly to gamblers. You can't put ads out there. So we built this essentially a funnel. It's this fun place for people to come. And that is the idea. People come in. So the idea was that it would come in, it would drive people to business perspective, to the business goals that they have, which were to, you know, spend more time on the gambling site. What they're finding now is the thing that we've built for them, they're seeing dollar signs, they're seeing opportunities to monetize the system. So normally what would be a spend is now something that, you know, without giving away too much about what their plans are, there are ways in every one of our projects, in fact, there are ways to essentially monetize that experience. Now, whether or not you go that far, and whether or not the relationship you have with your customer is such that is trusting enough, I guess, that you would even ask them for money in something that's a marketing phase of the customer journey. That's up to you. And we'll advise you against that if we think it doesn't make sense. But if you're creating engagement for the sake of engagement, and you take it so far that there are moments within it where you could say to somebody, you know, if you want a bit more of this, just pay us a little bit. We'll support that, but you should consider an experiment, because it could actually backlash on you if you're not careful.
So one of the things that is utterly fascinating to me about this is that Well, and I guess it kind of raises the question. So you're effectively, and much to I think Annan's point of you don't build games for yourself, your point, and in support of that point, um, you're dealing with. I'm picking a number out of a hat here. You're dealing with several 100,000 people potentially, maybe a couple of million. Because I know one of the things about your platform, which is interesting, is it scales. And yet we all know and we've heard forever about personalization, but that's ultimately personalization is just like okay, we've identified some characteristics that we can commonly market to, right? But then in your case, given you're talking about people who potentially are very passionate about gaming or not, but all of them coming in together on this platform. And in one case, person A comes in and sees, oh, whoa, this is something I can play. I mean, in their head, that's how they're viewing it. And then number two is saying, whoa, this could be interesting and a really pleasant distraction, but I'm here to, ultimately buy something or do something. Third person can be very different, et cetera, meaning we're dealing with different behaviors, not just characteristics overall. How do you even allow for that in what you're building? Because it's going to make a difference whether somebody's an avid, gamer outside this or not, or an avid fan of something, or an avid product lover of the product, or just someone who's looking at something. And, in fact, the funnel, so to speak, could be for them a distractingly long walkway to the door, right? That they want to go through. So how do you deal with all that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And you're kind of tracing me through now the evolution of our platform, because we eventually had to face that challenge. So the first thing we built was the gamification system. I'll still call it that, even though it's a really bad word, but it is something that's a very flexible toolkit that allows me as a game designer and our team to assemble different engagement pathways. The second thing we did was build a universal integration hub that would allow us to connect into all points of the customer experience, every touch point, from low tech to high tech. So for low tech things, we use things like code words that you can print onto collateral and push out through your social media channels. For high tech integrations, we can actually integrate our integration hub and our platform into your CRM, into your authentication system, into everything. So we have this big stream of data. The third thing I think answers your question, Paul, which was a segmentation module, call it. So yes, somebody comes in the customer journey, that's a different person with a different relationship to the brand than somebody who's been there for 20, 30 years and who considers themselves a Starbucks drinker, a Coke drinker, a Volvo driver, whatever it is. So the segmentation engine allowed us to actually do a thing back at the beginning that I wish that we could do, which was create adaptive questing, adaptive missions. So you've probably heard, next best action kind of technologies. So it's like that, but better, I think, because what we're doing really is looking at the behavioral response of people within an interactive system who are making choices in a game. Let's face it, it's not linear like a loyalty program where you bought something, but you would have bought it anyway. So all we really know is that, you bought it here versus somewhere else. There weren't a lot of choices there. Within our experiences, there are a lot of choices and there's decisions and consequence, and in some cases, strategies that you have to adopt. So the more we know about you, and of course, across all the touch points that are available, including, did you come into our store? Did you follow us on social media? Did you log in 5 times this past week? We can take all of those touch points and start crafting quests. We call them adaptive quests, because if you belong in a segment today that, let's say we call you the, the new buyer, right? So you know a little bit about the brand and you've made the first couple of purchases. That's who you are. Compared to Brent, who may be, on the top of the pyramid because he's been loyal, he does everything the brand could expect you to do. There's 2 different things we're going to challenge you to do. First, we have to know which segment you belong into, but the game is going to present you with that. And we have, again, examples. We have examples where customers, clients of ours, just want a simple path, right? So we create a few simple paths, but then we have other ones where they actually have teams of people who we've created templates for, and they monitor the audience. They look at the segments, how people are shifting in and around segments, and they're able to then launch new missions and challenges on a daily basis in some cases, to put it in front of those people to give them something fun to do that recognizes or appreciates what they've brought to the relationship, right? Which is, I think, the way you should be looking at it. And then moves them up the pyramid, moves them up the customer pyramid. So that segmentation idea is something that it was the third thing basically that we built. It's kind of a newer thing, and only, we're rolling it out sort of slowly to some of our projects, because you need to know enough about people before you can segment them. Exactly. And then you have to second guess or try to think ahead on what is the next best thing for them to do in the context of your business goals.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of behavior, it's a matter of intent. And that's what you're thinking through, really. What's going to be the intent of this person over time, right? So, I mean, and the fact you actually account for that's pretty amazing. It's because to me, it's not quite humanization, which is something that we talk about all the time, but it's the step beyond personalization, right? And that's really important, right? Right now, it's, to me, mission critical that happens.
Right.
All right, we got a question from one of our players in residence, Anand Tucker. How much does gaming experience culture play a role in your engagement or success?
Well, that's kind of an interesting question, because sometimes we'll sit down with a prospect. One of the first questions I usually ask somebody who's interested in our services is, and it's not a filtering question, it's just a curiosity question, but it's like, are you a gamer? So what do you know about video games in general? Even if you're a lapsed gamer, if you played 20, 30 years ago, tell me that. Because now we have a
That's
common...
interesting.
Yeah.
So I haven't played a game since like when I used to go to the arcade and play, was it Galaga or something like that?
Yeah, okay.
So knowing that, what does that tell you about how I should be engaged?
Yeah, okay. So I mean, that's easy, because if you're a Galaga player and you're pumping quarters into it, the thing that I know about you is that you were driven, you had this like kind of compulsion to succeed and advance and improve your score previously. So that was self-imposed. So that was, it may have been competitive, okay, because you may have had friends that you went with and you're trying to outdo each other's score, but I bet you went sometimes by yourself. I don't know. Paul, did Brent have a lot of friends as kids, or did he go to the arcade by himself?
Wait a minute.
I didn't know.
We're not going down the shrink route here.
Shrink wrapped.
I did used to go by myself sometimes because I wanted the practice time.
Good.
And I could get my pizza and my Coke and just go to work on that game for like an hour straight.
Awesome. Okay, good. So what that says to me is that you fit into a category of player in that case, where you were self-imposing these new goals on you. So if there was a community of people like you, and you as a brand have those as customers, and this is true, right? Because you actually do see this. So for example, sports teams attract people who are interested in competition. So even if I'm the fan of the same team as you are, if we're both cheering for the Dallas Cowboys, or all three of us are.
Yeah.
That got to be.
Well, it's been nice knowing you, Steve.
Sorry, you have to be cut off immediately. Oh my God, there's a technical difficulty. There's a bad technical difficulty. Can't hear Steve anymore or see him.
Even if all three of us were cheering for the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't think
that would never happen.
Right.
What would give you that idea, Steve?
We would still enjoy the friendly camaraderie, and we'd be, betting, wagering, like we'd be interacting with each other in a competitive sense, because sports attracts competition. However, you go to other brands like Lululemon, for example, their community is very collaborative. Okay, so I know just by looking at their brand and what their messaging is, that if we were to introduce competitive mechanics or mechanisms into Lululemon's environment, so in our environment, those sports, I can throw a leaderboard in there, and it's going to work beautifully because we're competitive. It's not going to rub us the wrong way. You throw a leaderboard into Lululemon's environment, you're now introducing comparison that is going to be unhealthy. It's going to damage the fabric, the collaborative spirit of that community. So you don't want to, you can have a leaderboard, but don't put it front and center. Maybe hide it somewhere. Probably what you want to do there is something that's more individualistic, or maybe collaborative challenges, where if the entire community gets together and achieves a goal together, then everybody benefits from it. But you wouldn't do head-to-head competition. So even just by knowing, that you've played games like Galaga, or that you sort of play role-playing games or whatever, I can start developing a language with you where I can start bringing in examples and start helping you very quickly understand the point of view that we're talking about versus that kind of top-down. What does the business need? What is the marketing message trying to be? What call to action are you trying to drive? No, it's not like that. There's a relationship here. Let's put yourself in the shoes of Brent going down to the arcade. Why is he actually going? Why is he putting quarters in? What's driving him to do that? There's a relationship between him and that arcade and that machine in that moment, that hour that he's there. Let's try to take it from his point of view. And suddenly that's a different conversation. And like Paul was saying, the metrics that we're getting now are really off the charts because we're able to tap into that, refine the flow of the experience, and do some fine tuning. And the next thing you know, so the one project that I was telling Paul about before was that we had blown through. We'd reached 140% of the marketing objectives that they had for the month. We achieved them in the first week that the campaign launched. Wow. And they were pretty aggressive goals. Another one, another big company. So they have a parent company, and the subsidiary has spent, it was 1/4 of the marketing budget of the parent company, but achieved 5 times the marketing efficiency of it. Wow. So I guess that's like a 10 times lift on what they're doing. And it really is, I think, just a different perspective on how you're engaging. So we're not a funnel, right? Like we don't bring the audience, but once they've come to the door, we make sure that they're engaged and participating and looping back and spreading the love and, doing the referrals, doing everything that you need them to do. So
that's amazing.
Wow. All right, Christy, I'm going to get you your first question. Let's see. Steve, do you work with companies to understand their CRM and how they use it before integrating your platform and the gamification? How do you work with this? How do you work this into your client's business strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've had companies that have shown up. There's one right now that we're working with. They don't even have a CRM yet. There's enough rudimentary capabilities within our system. We have data stores and data warehouses where we can create essentially a light CRM. And honestly, that's actually enough for some people. It's the same with loyalty programs. If you have an existing loyalty program, an existing CRM, we can integrate both of those. If you don't have either, we have light versions of both. Where it matters is how robust is your CRM and what do you already know about people? Are you actually doing segmenting already? Do you have like artificial intelligence? Do you have like data analysis modules that's already going to give us a running start on understanding what those segments can be? And then how do we actually integrate when we're pulling that data into our universal integration hub? There's always going to be some work that needs to be done there to kind of tinker with it, and it's bi-directional, right? So we can pull data from the CRM into the segmentation engine so that we can create the segments and drive the gamification outcomes, and then the outcome of that we can pump back into the CRM. We can update the CRM with it. Same with the loyalty program. So one of the things I'll hope to show you is how we've taken one project where they had a loyalty program. Why mess with it if it's working, right? So we'll keep it, but we'll let you convert your loyalty points into game plays. And then as you play, as you get deeper into it, you then have a choice. Do you want to kind of cash out and use the in-game currency to purchase things? And I'll show you, there's like choices of what you can purchase. Or do you want to turn those back into loyalty points? So we can pump that back to the originating system, the original loyalty points program. So it's like kind of a bi-directional flow. And really, this is all it all comes out in the discovery phase of any one of our projects.
So listen, in the interest of time, why don't we actually get something set up so you can show us? I think that would be a great way to end. And we're not 100% certain it'll work on StreamYard, so we'll see though.
So thanks for being a guinea pig for us.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a share button. So if I click on share, what am I looking at here?
You click on share, then I should see it, and then I
Oh.
should be able to bring it up.
Okay. Oh, I can even pick. Oh no, I can only pick one. All right, I guess I'm going. Oh no, window. Here we go. Window. Here we go. I bet that's working.
Okay, so here we are.
Look at that.
It worked. Woohoo! I was just afraid a blast of radiation would come out and fry you.
No, I was
was
afraid it
nervous.
might fry me.
Oh, that's right. Actually, now I think of it.
So what I'm going to show, I've actually got a number of projects up here, and I'm showing them. Not all of them even make a lot of sense, but I want to show you that what is important to us is to be able to configure something quickly and efficiently to suit the brand. So this one looks very different from this one, which looks very different from this one, which looks very different from this one, and yet these are all run by the same core technology. The client we're agnostic to, so it doesn't matter if it's a mobile app in this case, or if it's a website, or it's a mobile website, or whatever it is. It also doesn't matter what your branding looks like, right? So just because this is pink and you're usually working in green, that doesn't matter. So it's all modules, and it's modules that we either need or we don't need. And as I was saying to you before, like the idea of even a leaderboard, it may not make sense in one application, so we just don't enable it. But we may enable the collaborative challenge module. So it's really that simple for us. It's really that configurable, but it's very flexible and powerful. So this is in Spanish, so forgive me, but and my Spanish isn't that great. But Miniso is a retailer of gifts, very thematic. They do lots of licensing deals, really colorful, really playful brand, really well suited to this. This is their online catalog. It's everything you would expect to see, right? So it's got purchase this in pesos. That's not a $250 stuffed animal. I mean, I'm not to say it's not worth it. It just isn't. So there's descriptions. You can make purchases. All right, everything looks perfectly normal about that. There's a loyalty points program behind this, perfectly normal as well. Where it gets really fun is where you click on this tab to switch this app into Miniso Love mode. Miniso Love is the gamified, deep engagement system that our platform supports. And what this does is so this one doesn't use the adaptive questing, but it does use a questing system. So it's not based on segment. Everybody gets the same one. But what's fun about this is that this is a video that their marketing team made about this ballerina figurine who's in an antique store. And one night she comes to life and she has this amazing adventure. She goes through the city and eventually makes her way to the Miniso store where I think the slogan is translated to something like, your happy place. You found your happy place, okay, in English. And we took the beats of that storyboard and we broke it out into this quest path. So every one of these, you click on it and it gives you quests that you can complete. And if you complete the quest, then you've advanced that part of the story. Now, these quests, this is where it's really fun because we can tap into their CRM, we can tap into their point of sale, we can use code words, we can create combinations of different actions that the customers have to do. Did you spend at least 150 pesos this week at one of our stores? Did you pick up the code word that we published on the Twitter page? Will you answer this quiz for us or this survey? Did you play one of the mini games that we posted in here? As you complete it, you're making your way through the quest. Now, what's fun about this is that it's so easy for us to. So this launched December, it's the end of December, so it's only been up for a few months. So this is the launch quest that we had. We already launched another one last month, a couple weeks ago, in fact, based on the Miniso. It's a global campaign around love. So it was at right around Valentine's Day. So this one has a different set of quests and challenges that's got these lock boxes that you have to unlock as well. Different challenges, different themes. So we can just keep rolling these out. It's very efficient, very effective. I think they asked us to do this. I think it was up within a couple of weeks. So you complete these quests and you're getting a currency, like an in-game currency. This is the coolest part here. This gold coin here is my loyalty points total from just the regular loyalty points program. Okay, so I've made purchases elsewhere, I've earned certain loyalty points. I can convert these loyalty points into game plays within the system. I haven't showed you what that is yet. But the reason that's so important And the reason I think we're becoming busier and busier is there's so many companies now that are facing this very, very big and real problem of their customers having accumulated a shitload of loyalty points. And if you're a properly functioning accountant, a CFO, you should be accounting for that as a liability on your books by rights.
Wow.
So your best plan should be to burn those off somehow. Now, if you can get people to burn them off by spending them on things that they can buy with their loyalty points, that's good. If you can get them to burn it off on things that are just digital and cost you nothing to fulfill, that's even better. So this was one of the business goals that they had for us, which was, we want a loyalty program, but we don't want this big accumulation of loyalty points. What can you do for us? Well, you convert those loyalty points into these game spins. And the game, well, we call them spins, but it's actually, it's just like a daily play. So you get 2 or 3 daily plays every day for free. You can also convert your loyalty points into daily plays. So in this case, what we're doing is giving them a claw game. And the claw game I'm going to play, I'm going to try to grab something here. Simple, fun, elements of surprise, which again is in the video game realm, very important. My skill testing question here. It's under Mexican law. So I earned 158 hearts. So I can use those hearts now to buy digital collectibles. And what we've done with this is kind of fun. So some of these collectibles are just little characters from their character set. This was something that I thought was a really good idea. We took frames from the storyboard for the video that we made, and you can collect those as well. If you complete these sets, you can actually win a real thing. And this appeals to the collector instincts that many of us have. This project here, this is the Italian lottery that I was telling you about. This one has a similar idea, except the catalog of games is much bigger. So it's not just a claw game. It's a whole bunch of things. These are all like little mini games that you can play. There's also a quiz game that you can play. So when you complete the games, you can complete these missions. This one is adaptive questing. So the quests that are available to me are based on what segment I belong to. So you guys would see different ones than the ones that I see. I can start these quests. When I complete them, I earn a currency. In this case, I'm building a soccer team. So these are actual FIFA, they got the FIFA licenses for all these characters. I could also build my stadium. So it starts off as a dirt field with really not much going on, but I can upgrade it. And this just keeps people coming back. And then they've got some big prizes. So you can actually win, cars. You can win a BMW and motorcycles and things like that. But if you're kind of picturing all of this, and this one has a leveling system too, and some collaborative challenges and instant win prizes, all kinds of different things that you can roll into it just to add surprise and intrigue and prestige and vanity, and I could go on forever. But the main thing that I'm trying to drive here is that there's engagement loops, right? So it's not just how much money did you spend? Okay, well, here's your thing. It's like, what else did you do as a customer, like other than spend money? Like, tell me everything you've done. Okay, well, that means that you're this kind of person to us, and that's the kind of relationship that we have. So let's do more of this. Let's get in deeper into this, and we'll give you. It's kind of a two-way street now. Right now, it's how do you look at me? How do you look at me, and how do I look at you? So we try to nurture that. We try to lift it out, and if you look at the kind of metrics that we get, this is a dashboard, which is really giving us a window right into the engagement health of the community. So these guys have been up for a couple months. They've got 123,000 players active in the system. Wow. Some of this is testing data back here, so I guess that number is a little bit smaller. But I think the interesting here, this is the player registrations. So normally you'd see, so we got a crest, certainly when we came out of the gate, but it didn't drop off to zero. It's still bubbling, percolating. And even the plays are bubbling, percolating. So normally, in a campaign, you'd see a spike and then this huge drop off and then it's flat. In a game system, it's not like that, right? In a game system, you can keep coming back and you can keep.
Whoa.
Wow, we lost him.
Where'd he go?
Let's
give him a chance to get back. But
he must have had a internet issue. All right, there he is.
You know what it was? I clicked on stop. I thought I was clicking on stop share. I clicked on
leave studio.
yeah, I clicked on studio. Should have my glasses on.
No, that's okay.
You know what
listen,
it was? We were
Yeah.
in danger of over engagement because it's at a little over 4 o'clock. So
Yeah.
you were good, man. You built that into the system.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
And you know what? You're so looped into the right place. I was looking at a report this morning on you from Unity, and they said the fastest growing segment right now in the gaming universe is hyper casual, which is what all your games are. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Right. So it's it's like beyond smart. I mean, it's directly attuned to how everything is evolving quickly. Right.
And not to give too many secrets away, but you brought up hyper casual. So one of the principles of hyper casual is that there's this notion of grinding where you're doing things that are almost like mindless in a way,
right.
but it's still enjoyable. Like it's not mindless in the way that's insulting to you. It's just mindless in the way that's it's pleasurable just for its repetitive nature, right? And we do have elements of that woven into that if it makes sense. Like it doesn't make sense for everybody. Like this is not for every brand, let's be honest. But for the ones that are willing to deepen the relationship and to have a bit of a playful spin, let's face it. I mean, after the last couple of years that we've all been through, a lot of brands are ready for some playful. Let's have some fun, right?
A lot of people are, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people are. So if you're a brand and you're thinking, oh, is that too serious or is it too playful for us? You know what? Think about your customers. Think about what they're really in the mood for. They're probably ready for a smile.
Amen.
And on that note,
thank you.
Perfect way to wrap up a great conversation. We don't even have to ask you the traditional question because you're a Cowboys fan, right?
Oh, I don't think I have a choice here, quite frankly.
I don't know. This coming from the guy who said he's a Coke and Pepsi, lover. I don't know, man.
I would fear for the safety of my family if I were to publicly disclose anything other than my unbridled love of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Just don't ask me to show any merch because all you're going to see is Toronto Maple Leaf stuff. But
good
we'll
enough.
Give you some time. Next time we talk to you, we expect to see it all decked out back there.
Wearing your Cowboys hat.
Exactly.
You with a picture of Jerry Jones hanging up.
Right. He'll be built into your gaming systems.
Right.
Hey, Steve, it's been really a pleasure having you. Thanks for doing this. I need to learn more about this too. I know Paul has been digging in, but this is some really interesting stuff. And a lot of comments are coming from people who definitely want to learn more about it as well. So,
well, I'll tell you, like,
if they ever want to ask the game designer a question, they can reach out to me. I'm happy to do so.
Well, you definitely want this guy to be reaching out, and also Charlie Isaacs, who's the CTO of Salesforce Connections. He runs kind of their innovative wing. He's the CTO of their innovative wing. Charlie is one of the best human beings on the planet besides. So having him here, and apparently pretty impressed, is a good thing.
He came up with the term love points, which is an interesting term.
No, it's actually not a bad term.
Really. That's right. All right. Well, cool. Thanks again, man. We'll have you back because you didn't say you were a Patriots fan. That would have been death.
I've never said that.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for that, by the way.
Awesome.
Good to see you guys.
So on behalf of Steve Boxka, did I say that right? Boxka?
Sure. Boxka. I've heard it all.
On behalf of Steve.
If you're Hungarian, I'd be really insulted at how you said that, but because you're not, I don't think you are.
No, I'm Irish. See, I'm no.
Brent Leary.
But I want to know how if I were Hungarian, how should I pronounce it?
A Hungarian would look at that and they would say Buchka.
Buchka?
The CS is classic Hungarian. It's a CH. CS in Hungarian is CH.
Buchka. So it'd be Bochka. Bochka. Yeah. Okay. How do you pronounce it? You say Bochka?
I'll take whatever I get. People say Boxa or.
So when you were married, when they pronounced you husband and wife, what did they say?
Oh no. So my wife's last name is Dutch. It's Regts. Think of that. Regts. Right? It's nasty. So they pronounce it Rex. But she's heard it all too.
Rex.
And she didn't take my name.
Oh my God!
I
Did you
sure wasn't
hyphenate?
gonna make hers.
I'd love for you to hyphenate.
She should have hyphenated
I
it.
feel sad for your
Well,
children.
That's a threat. I hold that threat over my daughter all the time. It's like
I know. I
you're
really feel sad for your kids.
She's
You're
gonna get
losing
married
my
to a dude
voice,
named Smith.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a threat.
Rich.
We'll hyphenate your last name, girl, and you're going to be.
That's right. I said, whatever you say, I'll do, Daddy. No problem.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Get it.
All right. So on behalf of Steve, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and Minnie says goodbye too.